It's perfect to talk people.
Hey guys, welcome to the HOLTS sealed bid auction. The catalogue we're looking through today is the 6th of January 2022. We come here every time. It's amazing. We make this show. Welcome to 100 Bargains. And we're going to kick off with this lot 5440. This is a bit of a blast from the past and one of my favourite guns I've picked up in this sale. This is a Benelli Army Gun. I don't know the model. It's a restricted 3-shot semi-automatic, so it is section 2, and it's 1974, so it's an unbelievably early Benelli that, well, at least looks this modern. One thing that I thought was quite smart is this Canonnerie Manu France Saint-Etienne, a French barrel in a Benelli action. I mean, that's not uncommon, and that is to be seen, but it's just interesting to see how far they've come and how things have changed. And to be honest, it's a Benelli. The chances are, if you whack some 32-gram loads through this bad boy, it's still gonna work 50 odd years later. 80 to 120. That's lot 5440. There's a nice old girl, a 686 Essential, lot 5128. You know, these were built to be the budgety of the most budgety. And it kind of is. Flat sides, low machining, non-raised hinge discs, like these are slapped together Berettas from back in the day. People always ask, oh, I don't think about buying a Beretta in HOLTS. I don't know. Berettas are so easy to rebuild and so reasonable to fix any problem. It is almost the one gun that I wouldn't hesitate to buy from HOLTS if you are a bit of an auction virgin or you're a bit hesitant. Do it. Like, you're not going to regret it. Let's say you bought the worst Beretta in the world, which I'm fairly sure I bought a few years ago, not from here. The parts and new stock and new forend were like £600, and it's then brand new. So just, I mean, consider it when you're buying, and these guys are always very honest with any baddies, but it's a Beretta. They're just painfully reliable. What we have here is lot 5200, which I shall look up in my HOLTS Auctioneers sealed bid auction catalogue. 5200 is a Nickerson Vernicaron 12-bore single trigger over and under ejector, 100 to 150 pounds. And the reason I would like to show this to you is because Vernicaron, as we like to call them, French Purdy, are an interesting company. I mean, they still exist today and they still make guns today, although many people will be more au fait with their clothing brand, Lean Vernicaron. What have we got? Well, it's a gun. It's a 12-bore over and under ejector with a straight hand stock. And they are very French. And by very French, I mean very French. It's neither an insult nor a compliment, it's just a statement. It is a straight hand stock, it is finely checkered, the lines of the stock are quite big and broad, and I don't believe these were a lot of money. Vernicaron and the French market is very much price driven, although they do have some amazing gun makers now and always have done. The bulk of it, and I say that, you could probably compare them to someone like BSA in this country, never made anything wildly good, shotgun wise, just made stuff that worked for the man. The safety catch is the first point of Frenchiness. It is a push down and push forward safety catch, so it's quite a conscious effort. I must admit that if it didn't feel flimsy or feel as though I could break it, I like the concept. It allows for a very short safety strap or a safety tang, top tang. I kind of like it. It's a bit weird, a bit French. I like it. The top lever is like a cammed top lever, like a Wesley Richards. As you pull it, it cams off and takes your two locking lugs out of their locking holes. The action itself is a fully rounded action. In fact, it's just one big fat juicy oval. Saint Etienne, made in France, in case you had any illusions. I presume it is signed Nickerson as well as Vernicaron. Yeah, Nickerson Vernicaron. Vernicaron being the maker and Nickerson probably being the importer. You have slightly broken underhorns that they've been pinned and repaired. It's quite a common breakage. The way these are held together is a little bizarre. But the real thing I want to show you, apart from the lines and the shapes and the Frenchiness of the safety. The real thing I wanted to show you is this, the trigger. Look at that. The trigger is offset, all right? You'll like this. You pull the trigger, all right, your safety off. Pull the trigger, and as you let go, it changes over. And the changeover actually springs the entire trigger over to the top barrel. And then wait, whilst we cock it, and as you cock it, it flicks back into prime position. I just can't get over how bizarre these things are. It's not a great system, but it is cool. You know, that's sort of what happens inside a gun, but completely different. It's a very clear changer, and I suppose in a pinch, what that means is you can knock it over, really actively get it onto your second barrel. Suppose if something breaks inside of a concealed action, you buggered if you're out in the wild. I mean, I could just play with that all day. Click, click, tick, click, 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 click. Funny safety. I understand that it's perhaps not as solid, doesn't have the solidarity of the B guns out there. And that's why nobody goes and goes, I want a Verni Caron. But it's pretty cool. Like, it's pretty cool. And I understand it's a bit like an Italian car, isn't it? You don't want to have one and then rely on it. It's a bit like a Land Rover, you know? You don't want to have one and rely on it. Perhaps don't even want to drive a Defender 90. But it's cool to have. And it's cool to play with. You drive to the pub on Sundays, you know, and it doesn't really matter whether you get there or not. I'm always told I spend too long repeating myself from previous shows, so go and watch some of them about over and under. So I'm going to limit my over and under time to a small part. So I'm going to speak quite fast, I'm sorry. There are some really lovely ones here today. There's Bakel, a load of Bakels. This is the first one we're going to pull out though. This is lot 5199. A Maruku Model 600. The Maruku Model 600 is a nice gun. This Maruku Model 600 has been customized somewhat. The grip has been slimmed and rounded over the standard, as has the forend. And if you look carefully, the rib has been cut off and shaped off. Quite nicely, actually. It's not a terrible job. What is terrible is that they have then painted the barrels or Krylon the barrels or done some sort of shiny black finish on the barrels that does not do them justice. What it is probably the cheapest ribless gun out there. You know, it's built with a different era of Maruku to the ones I dearly love. The 600 is not my favorite model of Maruk, but I think since we did the Ribs Are Dead to Me Now video, I've seen more ribless guns. Maybe I'm more aware of them. A bit like when you buy a car because you think it's cool and then every other mug has one.
So whilst looking at this beautiful Lucchini that has side plates with fake pins, so they are in fact very convincing fake side locks, let's talk about how to bid. Go on the HOLTS website, the link is in the description, and register. Once you've decided what you like, put a bid on it. A sealed bid works very simply. You put in what you're willing to pay, and if you're the highest bidder, you win. Every gun in this sale has an estimate. Unless you believe in luck, if you want to win something, you generally have to bid over the estimate. And I know this from harsh personal experience. People bidding £10 more than me and winning things I desperately wanted. So decide what the maximum is you want to pay and bid it. And try not to get bitter if somebody else wins.
Every so often you see a shape of a gun that you perhaps doesn't look normal or right or the same as others. And this was it. The forend had just caught my eye as an odd shape. So I picked it up, and this is a Remington Europa. One presumes that it's not actually made by Remington, but probably made in Europe somewhere. There you go, made in Italy. BH, when's that gonna be? 80s, 90s? It's certainly an interesting one, and for Remington lovers or someone who wants something different, I know very little about it. It doesn't look expensive or like superlative quality, but it looks quite cool. It's different. Who else has a Remington over and under shotgun? Lot 5134 Arranberry 12 bore Max single trigger over and under ejector, 1973 30-inch barrels, 10mm ventilated top rib, 2 3/4 inch chokes, 3/4 and full. I mean, go and check out the video we did on Arranberry Max and you'll get my full opinion. It's just good, you know, it's built on a Boss locking system to a price, but also to a decent standard. I do think it is the best cheap gun out there. I mean, everyone you pick up does just feel good. White diamond, Lorona. There's a lovely diamond grade. It's not hard to find because you've got a diamond in the bottom there. This is the diamond grade Sporter. Quite obvious firstly that it's marked diamond grade. Has a diamond there, there. It's a nicely, and there with diamond grade written in it. I had a diamond grade trap with a slight Monte Carlo stock. I loved that gun. Knock the 2 bead sights off one of these and they are demons. They're worth quite a lot of money still, to be fair. That's lot 5167. I don't know what this one's valued at, but they are worth quite a lot of money. People, although they seem to disregard 6500s and 5500s and super grades, when it comes to diamond grades, 8500s and Grand Europeans, people go mad for them. This is quite smart, I like this. A classic doubles M92. It's a late classic doubles, not the really nice kind, but there's still something quite pleasant about them. They're still built to a lovely spec. That's 5170.
This is lot 5377, a Belgian 16-bore box lock ejector, made in the 1930s, 300 to 500 pounds. Why did I pick it up? Because it's really beautiful. A scroll back, treble grip action, hidden third bite, superlative engraving with floral bouquets. There's something not quite right about this gun, and if any of you know me, of course I'm gonna pick up a gun that isn't quite right, that seems a bit mysterious, that is way better than it should be for a gun with no name. You know, we do get tied up with names, and names are nice. But for 300 to 500 pounds, if name doesn't matter to you, this Belgian box lock ejector has the lines and class and rib and specification from heaven.
The thing about custom and handmade guns is the customer is usually right. And certainly when they're paying for something, you just do as you're told. And I think this gun could be one of those guns. It is a AW Wolf, and it's made to a very nice box lock ejector pattern, side clipped, greener sort of cross bolt. It's a very pleasant gun. It's very lightly used. It's very nicely made. It clunks together beautifully. The case color hardening is lovely. It's a single selective trigger. You have the safety on the top here, the single trigger with a selector to the offside. It's got cocking indicators. It is a very nice example of German gun making. The first indication that it was made for a strange shaped person is here. And to be fair, my views on gun fit have changed over the years. I always used to think that perhaps the look of the stock was some sort of priority. I suppose it's not actually a priority, providing if it works and feels good to the user, it doesn't really matter how it looks. And this is one of those, because actually when you mount it up, it feels good. You've got a hog back stock, meaning the stock curves down. So instead of having the sharp lines of a Monte Carlo to get that stock fit for a higher face and a lower shoulder, you have the hog back stock. It hooks up massively through the hand, but that's probably because his face was up here and taking it back further would have looked silly, like it would have made it more of a ramp. I say it looks silly. It's a very different style. It's almost a roach belly or swan neck style stock. And it's very nicely done. So the trigger guard is built and shaped into it. It's well composed. The length is, it's a fair length. I think it's 15 1/4. This is lot 5667. All the particulars are on the HOLTS website if you want to go and check that out. But you can tell he was a big bloke because look at the size of this fore end. It is huge. It goes beyond Magnum. Like, it's as fat a forend as you could want, but it's also about 1.5 feet long. You take this gun out, all the other guns are going to feel inadequate. It's got a raised, filed rib. It's got very nice, fairly coarse checkering. Again, I don't think this gun was used. It's just bizarre. The forend is, it's like, I would have carried on all the way to the end and made this a Stutzen. A Stutzen double barrel shotgun, by the way, is an amazing idea, and if anybody builds one of those, I want royalties. I mean, the engraving is nice. It's very, very Germanic down the sides, but around the top here, I really like this. You've got this textured flat running over the top with little stars knocked into it. It's like the sky. Look, I don't know the story behind this, but what I do know is that it feels great, and it looks wrong. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Guys, just so you're aware, we really don't scratch the surface of the 4,400 lots that are in HOLTS sealed bid. There is a website, go and check it out. The link is always in the description. And you can while away hours. Armstrong Co, Newcastle upon Tyne. Arcaded fences. I quite like that. That's lot 5764. Let's see how much that is. So 5764 is 80 to 100 pounds. A box lock non-ejector that looks like that. Let's say you paid slightly over the odds. You put a decent winning bid on it. Let's say 150 quid. You're in for less than £200 for a gun that looks like that, that's built by hand. I mean, yeah, it's by people that sound like Lloyd who built it, but I could get over that pretty quick. Usually, I would use the app, by the way, but my phone is on charge. There's a HOLTS app, you can download it. That's quite wise if you like old and interesting guns. Certainly just the names that you pick up when you're picking through these. W. Darlow of Bedford, that's something Spanish whose name's half rubbed out. Joseph Lang and Sons. I mean, a lot of these obviously are well-known names, but there's a lot of provincial makers and blacksmiths who would have had their names put on trade-built guns. And a lot of that can be quite fun. I know a lot of my friends have ended up buying guns made by people, or at least retailed by people with the same name as them. I think that's quite cute. That's quite cool. I mean, none of my friends' last name is Ugarte Chair. But I suspect if you're in Spain, some of your friends' last names might be Ugarte Chair.
So what is special about lot 5820? It's probably easier to talk about what is not special with it, but let's just tell you what it is first. It is an 1875 built 30-inch black powder only Thomas Horsley 12-bore. Thomas Horsley separates himself from other provincial makers by actually using his own patents and designs. This one has a few of them, namely the pull-back top lever. Push-to-the-side top levers are obviously preferable for double bites and a stronger lockup, but for ease of use, the pull-back top lever ranks very, very high. What's nice as well is it has the retracting striker patent of 17th April 1867, meaning that as you cock the hammers back, there are little spurs on the bottom of the hammers that actually pull those pins back out. These were originally put in place as early centerfire cartridges had very soft primers, and to be honest, you don't want to snap firing pins whilst out in the field. It's inconvenient. So, you'd pull the hammers back, it would pull the pins out for you, and you'd be ready to go. It's also a bar-in wood gun. A bar-in wood gun is a very special thing. These things are extremely hard to stock. To get a good wood-to-metal fit and still have the gun regulated and working well is, well, it's magic. I've always wanted a bar-in wood gun. They are stunning. This one, like many of them, has a little crack and a few repairs, but you can't expect anything else after 150 years of use. The estimate is £300 to £500. And let me tell you why. That's because the bore measurements are marginal and the wall thicknesses are below the recommended minimum, meaning this gun is not really a user. I don't know what the measurements are. It might even be marginally usable. But then again, maybe not. Either way, woof.
Over my shoulder I have 5796. It It is an AYA side lock, model number 2. It's a 1967 one. It's quite an early one. That means that the engraving isn't perhaps quite as nice as some of the later ones to us, or quite as higher grade. But to tell what it is, it's 400 odd quid. One of the best bits about the sealed bid is the learning aspect, and just the amount of things that you pick up that you don't know, have never seen. And the first time you come here, it is a sensory overload, but that doesn't really wear off, because all it makes you do then from then on is concentrate on one thing, because or else you come away having been a little bit mind blown. A bit like if you go to the website and just scroll through everything, you don't really get a sense. You need to really delve into little corners. And this is something that caught my eye. It's another bright finished gun, but it's an AYA from 1970. Automatically when I saw it, I was like, is that a bright finished Model 25? No, it's not. It's a bit of an odd one, really. It's a AYA 25-esque engraving. Very floral, very bold, but quite beautiful in itself. A double trigger, articulated front, side clip, treble grip action, a slight raise but not filed 28-inch barrel gun. That's 5771. I think, just as firstly, as a modern side-by-side, strength-wise around that action, looks-wise, it needs a clean-up, don't get me wrong, it's got some old oil on there, it needs a bit of love, needs a good wash and a bath. You could have an amazing modern side-by-side. Everyone talks about future-proof guns. This is one right here. A treble gripped action side clipped AYA is solid as a rock. When you have a look inside them, the quality of work is evident. This isn't something that's been thrown together with no thought or skill, like some cheaper gun makers. This is a good, solid, reliable gun. And you know, what is it gonna be? £400 to £600 estimate, 5771 at a guess. I mean, I looked in the book and then completely forgot because I talked about it so much. You've got a beautifully beaded trigger guard, a lovely shaped and carved action. And we did a separate video on AYA, and this isn't like it's not the AYA show, but 5771, go check it out. Like, you can't help but admire. One case of case roulette. I'm gonna go with this one here. Lot 5780. Let's have a look. Oh, hello. That's not a bad bit of case roulette. This is a William Evans 5780C. A side lock ejector case. It's nice. It's got a big extension, but at least the extension's got heel and toe plates fitted. This is a lovely thing. Doll's head, treble grip action. Like, this is a quality thing. I think we won at case roulette. The last shotgun we're going to look at today is this. This is lot 5531, valued at around £100. It is a BSA Model 200. We've seen SKB 200s, we've seen BSA SKB 200s, but this is the first proper BSA finished one that we've had. I really like this. So you've got a single trigger, which is really reliable. This particular one has a pistol grip stock. They have a raised filed rib. They are built off the same, basically a copy of a Webley 700 inside, so they are extremely reliable actions. They're built in Japan to an amazing standard. When somebody wants to get into the side-by-side market but wants a single trigger with a raised rib, this is the way to go. There are no other side-by-sides in the price point that you will be able to get any sort of reliability with a single trigger unit from, let alone any standard of finish. And these guys have a decent standard of finish. I am a big fan. You know, there's certain bits I don't like. You can take the sling swivels and put them in the bin. But other than that, the engraving, the finish, pound for pound, the best side-by-side on the market. Right, let's have a quick look through some rifles. This one is great. That's a Tony the Tiger reference for people who were born at a different time. There is some amazingly sweet stuff here. I mean, this Stalker is obviously amazing. All stalkers are amazing. I think we did a video on stalkers. Adrian Hartley's love child of making best quality air guns. I don't know, we're supposed to be looking at rifles, but you gotta touch a stalker when you see a stalker. There is obviously tons of service rifles, of which there are many other YouTube channels that know lots about. On service rifles, I've got a bit of a controversial question for you all, and that is bayonets. I remember a long time ago going to a rifle club and seeing a load of people shooting military service rifles with bayonets on. And to be honest, I think it was a bit weird. I've subsequently kind of got over a lot of those biases and stupidities. And I get that sometimes it's okay just to have fun. And I suppose if having a bayonet on your gun makes you happy, then that's great. But if you're taking your 1903 Remington down the range, maybe take it off. I don't know. Late grade 5, a Tikka M590 in 22-250 with carbon fibre wrapped barrel action and grade 5 walnut wrap stocks. You know what I'm really happy about in life is that the wrapping stuff craze came and then went. I remember about 10 years ago and everything just got hydro-dipped. And now people, now it's Cerakote, but I do feel like Cerakote is slightly more tasteful. Have you ever been a member at a rifle club unless you've owned a GSG-5? You buy them and have loads of fun and they're not very accurate. But to be fair, this is the first one I've seen where someone's been bothered to actually fit a custom rail and a silencer like that. Proper alley, innit? This is a 300 Weatherby. I think it's beautiful. I really do. And I understand that this is a knockoff of a very expensive big game gun, but I can't afford a very expensive big game gun. This is attainable. I do wonder whether this has had some bits done to it. That's probably been finished after, added afterwards. I don't know. The thing is, I just don't know. What I do know is that this rifle is cool and big. 4210A. Bruno Arms 300 Weatherby CZ602 602 ZKK bolt action magazine sporting rifle, £500 to £700. Not being funny, the scope's worth a few hundred quite happily, the mounts, they're worth a good chunk, and the rifle is just cool. I know that's not a reason to buy something. Somewhere here is lot number 4200, and that will be the last rifle we look at. So imagine, if you will, the year is 1871. Guns are in a different state of play. Shotguns still have hammers. We don't have the rifles and the cases that we have now and the cans we have now, but you're British and you own a lot of the world. Owning a lot of the world comes with certain responsibilities, like protecting yourself when you're travelling around it. Later periods, one would carry a big game rifle. But back in the day, you'd have had this. A cape gun. This is a Lincoln Jeffries of 31 Whitehall Street, Birmingham. Gold prize in London 1870, the year before they won the gold prize. I just think this is one of the coolest guns in the sale, period. Anybody who's ever wanted a big rifle has wanted a cape gun. A cape gun is a dual. It has one, well, this is not a hard and fast rule, but this particular gun has one rifle 12-bore barrel and one smoothbore 12-bore barrel, meaning you can go into any situation with a slug and some SSG. Let's look at some various situations. You're hungry, you go out, you see something big with 4 legs, boom, you slug it over. Oh, and then you see a Franklin, boom, you knock that out of the air. You can have a left and right of whatever you wanted. Let's say you're going after a wounded man-eater. Now we're getting a bit romantic. This gun is built as a world traveling gun. This is not built as a fine gun. It's well built, don't get me wrong, but it's just big and it's chunky and it's just robust enough. I know that they were perhaps darker times, but they're also way more romantic than the life can be now. Speaking of darker times in our past, or darker times, different times in our past, in my hands we have a Martini Henry, fitted with a bayonet. At some point, people would have had to learn to use one of those.
Well, here we have the very thing. This is called a bayonet training device, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a device for training you in the use of a bayonet, which Johnny is now going to show you.
Well, you have kindly volunteered to be stabbed.
I have.
This is Will, by the way. Will is the man of the sealed bid. He is sealed bid man.
That's me.
It's an interesting thing, isn't it? You got a big metal weight at the back and a kind of rubbery cup, a Baker-like cup.
Maybe to distinguish that this is the training rifle and not the actual rifle. I don't think it's going to hurt. If you could sort of aim for more...
The hard part, yeah. We're going to go straight into the...
Yeah,
we're just going to go with that light one first, yeah?
Go for it. Oh! Well, maybe put it against me and then push.
I did that very lightly for what it's worth.
Yeah. So put it against me and then push. That's fine. But if you do that, douche.
You feel like that is a bad thing?
Yeah, it's being stabbed with a blunt object.
There's only one fair way of doing this now. Come on, let's have a try.
Okay.
Right, go for it. Yeah, go on. No, properly. Like you want to kill me, yeah. Yeah, go give it a go.
Really?
Oh, yeah, don't bottom out on it, because that'll hurt, yeah.
Okay.
It's just out of pure interest, yeah. Do you feel like you would have killed me if there was a bayonet on there?
No.
Oh, do you want to find out? That is an amazing piece of history.
Something different. Fun for the whole family.
Mate, that is the coolest thing in here.
Yeah?
No, but it's up
I've
there.
said that a couple of times already today.
Turns out, as I've now been stabbed with it by a few people, it hurts if you get it wrong, because somewhere along the line this sometimes sticks into the side and then actually all you're doing is getting hit by something. So I do apologise to Will, but he was a good sport.
It's perfect to talk people.
Yeah.
See, now
Are you going to go straight into my stomach? That's not fair. Look for the soft bits.
you got a bit of a stomach there, haven't you?
It's a touch of a stomach, yeah.
These were our boys.
So they were made for a long period of time. This isn't just made for a few years. That would have been the standard of practice before World War One.
I suppose, yes, for the Boer War and certain other ones, and the Crimea before that. This would have been essential for our lads to really learn about having the guts to do it. I mean, you can imagine trying to bayonet somebody.
It wouldn't have been great fun.
No, it doesn't come naturally, does it? And the problem.
But not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
No, not even then, really. With the bayonet, you have one other little problem, which is not particularly nice, and that is when you actually go into the tummy.
Yeah.
Right. The tummy doesn't like it much. Surprise.
Obviously.
And it will clench up. So with the bayonet in the tummy, it's quite hard to get it out. That's the problem. It's stabbing somebody's fine.
Is it?
Not really, no. And you see in the films them withdrawing it out of the body. No, it's not that easy. A lot of the time is the bayonet would break because it would keep their running or whatever, and it would snap because the automatic clenching of the stomach.
Well, you imagine having a 4-pound fish on the end of a fishing line takes a bit of... Having a bloke on the end of your gun is not going to be preferable.
Absolutely not.
Sometimes it is totally okay to be childish, especially when a gun's not a gun. A bit like this one. I don't really know what to say about it. It's missing a lock. It could, with a bit of work, be a matchlock shotgun. But it's not there yet.
So there you have it, guys. That was the HOLTS sealed bid auction, the 6th of January 2022 edition. We've seen some beautiful guns today. We've seen some interesting ones. My final note, apart from that, I hope you enjoyed the show, is that that AYA we saw earlier, there's a Goro Sable down there with almost identical engraving. Obviously, at the time they were built back in the 70s, that was a big booming community over there in the Basque Country. And who knows whether the same engraver did the lock plates for both. Guys, thank you very much for watching. And remember, serious bids win it. It's quite fun to go and scatter a load of bids around, but if you're actually interested in something, it's always worth putting a strong bid in because... Sorry, I've just been distracted. Look at this release catch. And this is what it's like at the HOLTS steel bid. Ooh, a thing. Ooh, that is, to be fair, look at it. Look at that, it's wicked. How went up to that? A blanche. Push down, opening underlever. Look at those lock plates. This is the gun we end on. Sword SKB. This is a bit of British engineering and beautifully done too.
This whole world pushed you to the edge. Nobody knows all the pain you shouldered on your own. Here's hoping you haven't made up your mind. This world can be so unkind. There's another way down. Turn around. Come with me inside. Listen to the sound of my voice. It's alright. It's okay. That ain't water down there. A man can't fly on his own through thin air. It's cold concrete beneath your feet. There's another way down. Turn around and come with me inside. Listen to the sound of my voice. It's alright, it's okay. You're gonna live to fight another day.
Yeah, not properly. Like you want to kill me, yeah. Yeah, see, it's not that bad. You're